masters of speed. This is Formula One.
Hello there, welcome back guys. So we're at China. It's another wet setup video, or inters and wet setup video, and this is what I've gone with. So basically I've taken the dry setup and I've changed a few things, and that will be the inters or wet setup, and I'll explain exactly what I've done right here right now. So I have gone up 2 on the front wing, and I've gone up 2 on the rear wing for an inter setup. If this was a full wet race, I would go up 4. So the original setup was 38-28. For the inter setup, I've gone 40-30. If it was a wet setup, I would go up 42-32 on the wings. That's all I would do. On the transmission, the on diff was 65. I've gone down to 30. I've left the off diff alone, and I've left the engine brake in alone. If it was a wet setup, I would keep it exactly the same. On the suspension geometry, I've gone left, 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 left. I know that'll be a shock to many of you, but that is what I've gone with. And the only 3 things I have changed in this part of the setup is the front anti-roll bar, the rear anti-roll bar, and the front ride out. And that's it. That's all I've changed. So the original setup was 41, 6, 21, 19, 23, 60. And as you can see, I've come down 2 on the front anti-roll bar. I've come down 3 on the rear anti-roll bar. And I've gone up 3 on the front ride out. The reason being is you do not need you still need a firm car. You still need firm roll bars. You still need it quite firm, but not as much as you need it for when the racetrack is dry, because the car is going to naturally slip and slide all over the place, and you have to be extremely awesome on the throttle for your tires not to overheat or not to cause wheel spin, etc, etc. But I've come down 2 on the front anti-roll bar to 19, come down 3 on the rear anti-roll bar to 16, and then I've gone up 26, or I've gone up 3 to 26 on the front ride out. Simply being, you want to avoid as many puddles as possible. Sometimes, if for an example, if I was to run 2060 around a wet circuit, the bottom of the car would bottom out, you'd catch a puddle, and it'd shoot you off into oblivion. So for the sake of this setup, this is what I've gone with, and I would run this for a wet setup as well. So inters or wets, I would run it. The only thing that you need to change really, after you've got your basic inter setup, the only thing you need to change for the wets is basically the wings. Once you've got your inter setup, everything works exactly the same for the wet setup. The only difference is you change the wings by 2, up 2 on an inter setup, and then change the wings up 4 if it was a wet setup. Everything else, then obviously you change what you need to on diff and your roll bars and your ride height, but it's the same for a wet setup. Onto the brakes then. I've kept it exactly the same. Yeah, like I said, you know, but this is your setup, so you make sure that you chop and change it for what you want to do, what you need to do, because remember, the better you get this setup to suit your driving style, the better it will become. And I've kept exactly the same for the tire pressures. And yeah, if you remember the simple rule of inters, you need to go up by 2 on the wings. If it's wet, you need to go up by 4 on the wings. Change the roll bars, change the ride height, and everything else is still the same. Try the setup out, see how it feels. Remember to do all that good stuff. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and yeah guys, hope you have a wonderful day. You take care. Peace.